Usually when we talk about bad year in gaming, talking about delays and maybe a few buggy launches. But looking back at 2025, this wasn't just a bad year, it was a graveyard. Watch the billions of dollars in development costs just evaporate into thin air. The live service gold rush finally ran out of gold. The industry answer was to pull the plug. Today we're paying our respects, asking why, as we look at the definitive list of games that died in 2025. Start with the genre that took the hardest hit, the shooters that tried to come for the king. Remember X Defiant, Ubisoft's self-proclaimed COD killer? Feels like a fever dream now, but that game had huge launch numbers. The problem was, once you played it for a week, there was no reason to stay. It survived about 13 months. Great gunplay couldn't save it from total retention failure. People just went back to the games they already knew. Then there was the Spectre Divine. This one actually hurts a bit more because it had some genuine innovation and I really liked the game. It was the Shrouds game. 3v3 tactical, you control two bodies. Really cool concept in my opinion. But it shut down in March, given its a lifespan of just 6 months. It fell into this niche trap. It was too complex for casual players to pick up. It didn't have enough sticky content to keep the pros grinding it. But if you think new games had it rough, the reboots had it even worse. Multiverses, I mean, is this the only game in history officially died twice? It took the servers offline for a year to rebuild it. They hyped the comeback, then it shut down for good in May 2025. The relaunch felt slower, the monetization felt greedier, the magic was just gone. It's a textbook example of how to fumble a massive head start. Then you have Dauntless. For a long time, this was the go-to free-to-play alternative to Monster Hunter. It was pretty solid. I actually played this game for a couple hundred hours. But then game the shift. Phoenix Lab started locking features behind paywalls. The community called it a cash grab, and they weren't wrong. When you betray your day one players to squeeze a few extra dollars out of them, you don't save the game. You kill it. Speaking of studios, we have to talk about the February massacre over at Hi-Res. Two games, Realm Royale and Divine Knockout, were sunsetted on the exact same day. If you followed Hi-Res, you know the pattern. They make a viral hit, they chase the next trend, they abandon the previous game. This time, it was mostly restructuring to focus on Smite 2, but it's a harsh lesson for players. Be careful investing time in Flavor of the Month studios. Then we have the heavy hitters, IPs that are too big to fail until they failed. Resident Evil Reverse. Be honest, have you actually even heard about this game? Because I haven't until this research. It was that multiplayer PvP shooter bundled with Village. This is what happens when you try to force synergy. Horror fans want horror. They don't want a janky arena shooter. But I think the biggest shock was the Star Wars Hunters. This game shut down in October, barely a year after its global launch. You think Star Wars prints money, but the hero shooter market is so oversaturated that even Jedi couldn't save this one. Finally, we have to talk about Dungeonborn. This was supposed to be the main competitor to Dark and Darker, a medieval extraction shooter. The problem with this genre is the sweat spiral. Beginners hopped in and got absolutely crushed by pros in the high tier gear immediately. In an extraction shooter, the casual players are the content for the hardcore players. The casuals leave, ecosystem just collapses. So what did this purge of 2025 teach us? It taught us that having massive IP like Star Wars or a massive influencer like Shroud isn't a safety net for your game. And it taught publishers, hopefully, the maintenance mode is a better than a hard shutdown. Respect the player's time, but they won't trust your next game. Now, I want to know which of these shutdowns actually hurt you the most and which one did you see coming from the day one? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye bye.